It feels a little bit like we're doing this at the behest of billionaire Israeli donors.
But apparently, you're allowed to take hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Saudi monarchy in order to, what, perform comedy? One of the things that has been retailed, another lie that's been retailed, is that the reason that Republicans and Americans overwhelmingly actually are pro-Israel is because of Israeli money or Jew money or AIPAC money. And this sort of lie has been wildly trafficked, particularly in sort of the comedian bro world. A lot of comedians have been saying this sort of stuff. And, it's very hard to sort of deal with these claims from comedians because, on the one hand, they will make a claim that is certainly not a joke, like an actual serious claim. They are comedians, so they will then play a Mott and Bailey game where they make a claim that's factually untrue. They're called on the factually untrue claim. And then they put the clown nose on and they say, oh, well, I'm just a comedian. You can't expect me to get it right, which is really a silly way to do things. If you want to make a joke about a thing, make a joke about a thing. If you want to make a serious claim, make a serious claim. I think we can tell the difference. So, for example, Andrew Schultz has been very critical of us here at the Daily Wire for a variety of reasons that I can't quite discern, actually, because they don't seem ideologically coherent. Here he was, fairly recently, claiming that AIPAC is basically running our politics, which, of course, has become a very hot talking point on large parts of the left and, I will say, a horseshoe theory part of the right.
But the real decisions, like if we're going to send more aid to Ukraine, if we're going to send more aid to Israel, those decisions are already made because we continue to make them. Despite Americans not wanting them, the same fucking decision gets made, right? Mm-hmm. Over and over again. America does not support this shit that's going on here. None of us do. We're seeing the death and we're seeing the destruction. We're like, what the fuck is happening? Why do we keep supporting this? Like, what is going on? It seems to feel, at least at this point, that through AIPAC or maybe through other means, there's incredible influence on our politicians. I mean, Ted Cruz is just tap dancing for Israel left and right.
Okay, so again, the implication here is that Ted Cruz is pro-Israel because he's been supported in congressional races by AIPAC. Not that AIPAC supports Ted Cruz because he's pro-Israel and was already pro-Israel, but Ted Cruz is bought and paid for by AIPAC money. And this is a very common claim that's sort of made in the manosphere or made in the podcast bro sphere or the comedian sphere. It was a claim that was also made by the comedian Tim Dillon fairly recently.
If someone said, I hate gay people, I'd say, okay. But is that grounds for them to be deported? Doesn't this feel like it's going to a bad place? Does it feel good? Does it feel good? It feels a little bit like we're doing this at the behest of billionaire Israeli donors. No? Yes? Perhaps?
Okay, so again, the theory here is that all of America's politics is from the shadows being run by AIPAC or Israeli billionaire donors, not sure who he's talking about there, or Jewish philanthropists or whatever the case may be. That's really why Americans are pro-Israel or why Trump is pro-Israel or why Ted Cruz is pro-Israel or all the rest. I used to assume that restless sleep was inevitable. Night after night, tossing, turning, waking up with that aching back. I convinced myself that's how sleep was supposed to be. And then I tried Helix Sleep, and everything changed because it's a mattress made just for me. So as you can see, I'm not, where I normally am for the show. That means that I slept in New York. And, there are a lot of reasons I'm not a huge New York fan, including Zohran Mamdani, but one of the biggest reasons I don't have my Helix Sleep mattress. What makes Helix different is they don't just sell you a random mattress. They match you with the mattress you need for your body and sleep style. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or somewhere in between, they've got you covered. They make it so simple to get your best night's sleep every night. All you have to do is take their sleep quiz and get matched with a custom mattress based on your body type and sleep preferences. Trust me, when you find the right match, you'll wonder how you ever slept on anything else. I've got the firm but breathable mattress, means I sleep better at home than I do when I'm on the road. Right now, Helix is still offering that incredible Labor Day sale. Visit helixsleep.com/Ben, get 27% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Ben for 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. Again, just visit helixsleep.com/Ben for this exclusive offer. The reason I point this out is because if you are going to claim that money passing hands makes you a shill for the thing from which you are receiving the money, then I'm wondering precisely why Andrew Schultz and Tim Dillon, among many, many, many others, are perfectly willing to go to Saudi Arabia for hundreds of thousands of dollars and perform for a regime that is responsible for a war in Yemen. By the way, Saudi losing the war with Yemen was actually quite a bad thing, or at least pulling out of areas that led the Houthis to be in charge. So I'm actually not even critiquing the Saudi war with Yemen. That was the Biden administration. But if you're going to be a war is always terrible, and the people who perpetuate the wars, they're evil. And the only reason you'd be pro that is because you're getting paid. Let's just talk about Saudi Arabia and, the people who are paying people like Andrew Schultz and Tim Dillon to arrive. So I asked our sponsors over at Comet, how many people were killed in Saudi Arabia's war with Yemen? Quote, Saudi Arabia's war with Yemen has resulted in an estimated 377,000 deaths as of 2021, with the majority caused by conflict-related famine, disease, and lack of health care. Roughly 150,000 deaths are directly attributed to military operations, including airstrikes and battles, many of which were led by the Saudi coalition. At least 15,000 civilians were killed by direct military action, especially airstrikes. The answer is actually probably much, much, much larger, by the way. If the logic is that Israel is bad because war is bad, then Saudi would be worse because war is bad. But no. I mean, I assume that Andrew Schultz, who considers himself a social liberal, and so does Tim Dillon, that they understand that same-sex activity is still criminal in Saudi Arabia and can be penalized by everything up to and including the death penalty, depending on the circumstances. That in rare circumstances, amputation for theft is still a penalty on the books, although lashes has become more common over there. That migrant workers are still routinely forced into a form of trafficking very much akin to slave labor. That actually it took until 1962 to abolish chattel slavery in Saudi Arabia. That there is no such thing as free speech in Saudi Arabia. That if you're wondering about free speech, like Saudi Arabia ain't famous for it. But apparently, you're allowed to take hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Saudi monarchy in order to, what? Perform comedy over there? Any critical words? Any critical words of the Saudi regime? See, here's the thing. I don't actually think that Saudi is buying and paying for Andrew Schultz or Tim Dillon. I don't think they're going to change their views on Saudi Arabia because Saudi is paying the money to go perform a comedy show. But if the claim that you make is that all of our politics is run by secret money, by nefarious forces, then you should be kind of careful about the people stuffing money in your pockets, shouldn't you? Now, full credit to Tim Dillon. He at least says the quiet part out loud. Seriously.
Get over it. Get over it. We're going to Riyadh. The House of Saud is paying us hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of us millions, not me, but they're paying millions of dollars to comedians. Get over it. We're taking the money. How about that? How about that? Sorry. Oh, you weren't invited? Oh, you got nothing going on? Boo-hoo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo for you. I would never do it. You weren't offered. No one invited you. There's people that I respect that turned it down, but a lot of people are doing it, like a lot, like almost everyone. A lot of people are doing it. They bought comedy. So what?
All right. Well, if that's the way that this goes, then I guess that's the way this goes. And I guess that's that bizarre moral high ground that you've been claiming. Maybe you should let that one go, perhaps. Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Be sure to check out all of the other great content on my channel. I'll see you here next time.